3 recent suspected cases of coronavirus identified in Lagos are negative. The Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, on Thursday disclosed that 3 cases have been identified and are being tested in the Lagos Isolation Center. One is a Nigerian who returned from France 4 days ago. A second entered the country from the United Kingdom, and the third from China. Dr. Osage Ohanire gave an update on the recent development of COVID-19 case in Nigeria on Friday, saying that the results take some time to come out, but the country has only 1 confirmed case till date.
As of today, the 6th of March 2020, I repeat that there is only 1 confirmed case of COVID-19 in Nigeria.
We'll focus more on that in just a moment. Data feeds are coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms on channelstv.com, youtube.com/channelsweb. Follow us live on m.channelstv and on Facebook, as well as Android, Fire and Roku TV. We got all our platforms on social media covered. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV. Use the hashtag State of the Nation. Let's get your thoughts in. A federal high court in Lagos has dismissed an application filed by the former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Maurice Iwu, seeking the transfer of his 1.23 billion naira fraud trial from Lagos to Abuja. In his ruling on Friday, Justice Nicholas Owibo dismissed the application for transfer, stressing that it lacked merit. The judge subsequently adjourned the case till April the 28th for trial. Justice Owibo said that a look at the list of witnesses submitted by the anti-graft agency showed that most of the witnesses were in Lagos, with some retired. As such, justice will be better served in Lagos. What does this mean to the former INEC boss in a case that could make or mar his integrity? We will insist on the case better served in Abuja. Will he give in though? At least 8 mobile policemen have been killed in Wednesday's Boko Haram attack on Dapchi town in Yobe State, in what appears to be an attack targeted at security formations in Dapchi. The acting assistant director of Army Public Relations of Sector 2, Operation Lafiodole, Lieutenant Chinonso Oter, was, as well as the police public relations officer in Yobe, Dungus Abdul Kadir, have confirmed the attacks on the divisional police headquarters and the Nigerian army formation in the town. 1 police armored vehicle was set ablaze in the process. It's prime time here in Lagos, and this is State of the Nation. Welcome everyone in Nigeria and the rest of the world. I am Gimba Umar and this is State of the Nation. The concerns on the mode of attacks by the insurgents in the theatre of war in the northeast grows by the day. That's where we're focusing from. The latest, an attack on Wednesday in Dapchi, the target security formations. At least 8 mobile police officers were killed by Boko Haram insurgents in Dapchi. The attack comes just 2 weeks after some insurgents stormed the town and set ablaze the telecommunication network facility in Dapchi. An international expert in security, Aderile Shinaba, a retired DIG as well, joins us from Bosnia-Herzegovina. Many thanks indeed for coming on the show at this time. Also, a professor of system security engineering, Ado Abubakar. He joins us from Abuja studios. I want to thank you both, gentlemen, for joining us on State of the Nation this evening. Let's start with you, just outside of our shores. Okay, I understand that we have to start in Abuja at the moment. Dr. Ado, rather, what do you make of the fight against insurgents, Boko Haram in the northeast? It's been about 11 years now of operations of that sect in that region. What do you make of it to this day?
My take, I just want to start from my take. The issue of Boko Haram started with Yusuf Mohammed, who we know and have a leg to be the founder of that sect, which is popularly known today as Boko Haram. If we look at the antecedents and the concept of that group, then that is supposed to be where we start from. Today, it is a wider group. It is a wider group because the security system or the security architecture has not been able to blend it with the operational system. So the intelligence group the synergy of this intelligence group and the operational group has not matched to fight this group, to get them to hold. And that is where the link is missing. The moment that link is put in place and is bracketed, I think we will have a solution to the problem. Or else it will continue. It really don't take time to get this group out of circulation. But we are tactically forgetting that the synergy between intelligence and operation has to go together. That is the missing link.
That's the missing link. What has happened? We can perhaps, of course, narrow it down to the insurgent attacks on Wednesday in Dapchi, infamous, of course, for the abduction of the girls from that government secondary school there. But sadly, Leah Sharibu is still in the hands of the insurgents as a fallout of that particular attack. But on Wednesday, the attacks that came on the police formations and the military formation as well, many believe that this is worsening situations and it is at variance with what the government claims so far. Is that the case for you, since you say that there is a missing link? Could this be a fallout of that link which you say is missing?
Yeah, when something has happened once, what do you take? You take precautions. When those precautions are not taken and it has a repeat, what do? You fall back to intelligence. So if you fall back to intelligence, then the operational unit will come in. Remember, Leah Sharibu is a mole. She's the negotiating table for now. So if they have a repeat and it's not affecting the operational unit, then you should know that the intelligence unit is lacking. The intelligence is lacking. So that is the problem. As soon as the intelligence and the operations come back marching together, then we'll have a solution. But when the intelligence is failing, then operations has nothing to do about it. They won't have come back to Dapchi after what has happened to the school girls. But they have to come back to Dapchi because everybody is crying for the release of Leah Sharibu. And if you are crying for the release of Leah Sharibu, and that is the only hold I have for the government to bend to me, I have to look for another way out of it. And looking for another way out of it, you would not have allowed that repeat to come to Dapchi again. But here they are again in Dapchi after just about 2 years.
You were talking about 2 years, but this is the same place where 2 weeks earlier, Boko Haram stormed the town and they set ablaze their telecommunication network facility in Dapchi. That having happened, do you think, for instance, say the security forces took that accident or that incident for granted to have maybe reinforced, knowing very well that it's a volatile area and perhaps they themselves could be the target?
When the attack on the attack of the school has been made, and the task on the marks, the communication marks in the same particular town has been made, then you should know that that place is already vulnerable. So the security composition of that place is already compromised, and that is why they have to penetrate the place. It goes, you can penetrate 10, 100 times as far as the security has been compromised. And that is why I said the intelligence and the operation units are not working in tandem. There is no synergy at all. But because by now, every security arms in this country will have penetrated the so-called Boko Haram. And if they have penetrated, then they will have a lot of intelligence.
If I may comment, if I may just butt in here, because I'm wondering, when you made the submission that it is a lack of intelligence, how could they have known? Because how could the Nigerian security forces have known? Because this is an attack that was somewhat pre-planned, having that telecommunication network down. And as such, the security forces are unable to make that much communications between themselves and their officers that are on ground there. Do you see this as a lacuna or perhaps a situation that should have been taken more seriously by the security forces leading up to the attacks we had on Wednesday?
What is intelligence first? That is the first basic thing we have to ask ourselves. If we cannot infiltrate into Boko Haram for 11 years, when are we going to do that? Because most of the hierarchy of intelligence is supposed to be, we are back to with the so-called students, the so-called Boko Haram. So if we have intelligence working in tandem, we will be able to know the areas of operations we are going to take. That is why I said intelligence is lacking. Because this is happening for 10, 11 years now. What have we been able to do? And what do you think we can do? But when intelligence is failing, operations will automatically fail.
So,
and that is what we have gotten. Intelligence has failed. Automatically, operations cannot do anything. Because the operations
let's broaden this some more.
Gathered.
Let's broaden this a little further, because Dapchi is not the only place that was attacked on Wednesday. Damboa local government area of Borno State was also attacked on Wednesday morning. The residents there, they scampered really to safety, being caught in that crossfire between the Nigerian army and the Boko Haram insurgents. What does this tell us? 2 attacks, one in Dapchi, another in Damboa, 2 areas in 2 different states attacked on the same day. Yeah. Would you say it was pre-planned? What's Boko Haram up to?
Yeah, I won't say it's a plan, because it is either one fail and the other one is being achieved. In the world of terrorists, the terrorists don't just make one plan. They have several plans being made. And if one cannot be gotten, the other one has to be achieved. That is the way they work. The network of terrorists, if you know the history of terrorists, they don't say, oh, today we are going to attack Abuja. No. And stay only in Abuja. No. They will get about 3 or 4 points. So they must hit one of the targets. And you know, they have more intelligence because they send an advanced team. They know the entrance and the entrance and the exit. They mark up what they are going to do. It takes them time to actually bring up a plan to attack. Yeah, the intelligence group are not doing that, and we are supposed to have lived the substance of intelligence. We have to live where we are, regroup again, retrain our people, and get back to the operations. That is the only way we can achieve it. The intelligence is failing. We shouldn't deceive ourselves.
Now, the South-South governors are concluding this very massive plan, some call it ambitious, for a security outfit similar to Amotekun. The Southeast has their own. I think the northern part of the country also have something in that light as well. But do you think that these are enough to address these security challenges that we face today?
Jimba, this is the situation we find ourselves. We have the vigilante group of Nigeria. We have the hunters group of Nigeria. Every group is coming into the security architecture today. Everybody wants peace. Everybody wants a secure nation. So you cannot actually blame them for what is going on. But let's go back to the subject. If everybody is talking of regional policing, why regional policing? Yeah, we know that some things are at miss already, because we are supposed to start with neighborhood policing. But we did not start with neighborhood policing. Community policing just came in just some few years ago. So we have always been doing what is called protective security in Nigeria. We were trained by our colonial masters on protective security, but you must have something you are going to protect. What are we protecting? Because that is the last subject of security. We are supposed to start with citizen and human rights security. Then we go to business and economic security. We go to political security, environmental security, industrial security, productive security, security and the press. These are the factors we are supposed to go on. That is where we are going to train various areas of security, train people on various areas of security before we get to protective security. Protective security is the last, but we started, the colonial master made us to understand that we have to protect lives and property. Properties you don't have, life you don't have. So these are the problem. So various units has, over the years, gone astray from the mainstream of security to where we find ourselves today. That is where the agitation. So every region is agitating. Everybody want peace. Everybody want to be secured. But how do we get secured? So we now come to Amateco. We now talk of vigilante group. We now talk of the hunters group. All these are just how do we get a solution? But we have to actually look for the solution. And the solution is that we have to go back to policing, where it has to start with neighborhood policing before community policing. Somebody has to get to somewhere before you get to the other. So we have to go
let's bring in the
neighborhood
expert.
Policing to community.
Let me put you on pause for a minute or two. And let's bring in an expert in that field. I understand that we have that lines clearer now. Aderele Shinaba is a retired DIG and an international expert on security. He joins us from Bosnia-Herzegovina. I want to thank you so much indeed for joining us. We're able to establish that line now. The discussion has really been about the security situation in the country. We now are at a point whereby the South-South governors, they want to establish something similar to Amoteco to address the security concerns within that region. What impact, in your view, will that have in curbing crime within the South-South region?
Well, thank you very much. Let me make a correction. Aderele Shinaba is my name, a retired Assistant Inspector General, AIG, not DIG. And currently I'm the Group Head Security for TGI, Tropical General Investment Company in Lagos. The view of the governors of the South-South as regards forming their own security outfit, I think it's a welcome idea. The Southwest started with Amoteco. They are now doing the same thing. And the only thing I have seen in it is that it's going to be a way of complementing the efforts of the respective police commands within their states. And that is where I see community policing coming into play. And by that, it will assist the police greatly because information is key in when you are investigating or you are trying to fight crime. So these people know the terrain more than any other person. A commissioner of police from Sokoto can be brought to Lagos. He cannot claim to know the terrain as much as the citizen of that place who reside there and who have been there among the people. So I think if it goes round like that, Southwest has embarked on it, Southeast on it, Southeast will do theirs, Northeast, Northwest, and North Central. By the time everybody does it, in as much as it is meant for the purpose.
If I may butt in, the concerns really is that even though the federal government, through the IGP, have said that they will fund community policing in this country, does it take away from the intention of the government to fund community policing in this country, or does it add to it, considering that just about every other region wants to have their own security outfit?
Well, like I said, it is to complement the efforts of the federal police, that is the Nigerian police, because the IG is involved in it now. They are going to give them the standard operating procedure. They will be able to guide them properly to make sure that they are actually used for the purpose they are meant for, which is to support the regular police via the community. The traditional rulers will be involved, the religious leaders will be involved, the ordinary citizen that is the end user, the person that is on the receiving end, they too will be involved. And there will be no way for criminals if all hands are on deck the way it is going presently.
Do you think that this will be enshrined in the Constitution?
Well, I don't think that this is enshrined in the Constitution, but be that as it may, there is nothing stopping us from making sure that whatever is going to protect the life and property of the citizen can be done, and it could be debated in the House, whereby we could bring it home. But
Okay.
I think a critical problem deserves a critical solution as it stands presently.
Okay, that's a good place to let it rest. I must sincerely thank you for talking to us, the former AIG, Aderele Shinaba, talking to us from Bosnia-Herzegovina on the show. But let me come to you in Abuja just before we close very quickly. Your final thoughts about this. The will, if you will, for the government to have this community policing in place and also fund it. Do you think it's the antidote and it will solve the security concerns, address them, as it were, in the country?
Well, to me, right from time, I used to say we don't go to community policing. We have to start with neighborhood policing. We have to identify who are our neighbors. How do we profile these people? We have not been able to address the issue of neighborhood policing. Why go to community policing, which is a wider area? Who is your neighbor? What does it do? What is his antecedents? That we have not found out. We have not profiled people. Then why are you going to community policing, which is wider area? Because from community policing, you are automatically going to state policing, national policing, then global policing. So now we have to go back to the first step, which is neighborhood policing. Then we can talk of the crimes and how the crimes can be eliminated. You cannot eliminate any crime through community policing. I don't think so. So funding it is just, to me, is just waste of our economy. It's just wasting our funds because we have so many things to do with this money.
That's a good place to let it rest. I most sincerely thank you as well. Ado Abubakar, he is indeed a systems security engineer from our Abuja studios. Many thanks for discussing this and analyzing the issues with us on State of the Nation. And to you who've been part of the show, many thanks indeed for watching. I'm Gimba Umar. Till I come your way next week, good night.